Hi, Charles Moman here. Well, today I have another product review I'd like to do for you. It's the ICECO GO20 portable refrigerator. What you just saw is about as close as you're going to ever see me doing an unboxing, but I do want to talk about this box. Thanks for watching. So why would I want to talk about a box? Well, you know what? When I look at a product, I look and see how it's boxed. And sometimes you get something from Amazon or someplace and it's in a generic box, maybe a name stamped on it or a label slapped on it, and usually that tells me that's a rebrander. They're just buying things and throwing their name on it. When some company goes to the effort of making a really nice solid box and it's put together well and designed well and it looks nice, so you know that I think they care about their product, and I think that should tell you something. So that may seem like a trivial issue, but I really don't think it is. I think it tells you something about the company right from the beginning. So as usual, here's my full disclosure comment. I did contact ICECO and told them that I was interested in doing a review of their product, and so they did send it to me. But I do not do affiliate links with Amazon. I don't do commissions, so if I have a coupon code, I get nothing from that. And I also don't monetize my YouTube videos, even though I do get a lot of views every single day. So what was in the box? Well, the typical manual that gives warranty information. And the reason I was interested in this is because I'm going to stop using ice in a cooler most of the time, and we will power it with this. So this can plug into our cigarette lighter when we're driving, and when we're not driving and we want to take it out and it'll be outside of the car for a while, but I want to keep everything cold, of course, then that's when I would use my Jackery 500 watt solar generator, big lithium battery bank, and it can run for a long time on that. And then if we are at home, of course, you can plug into a wall outlet and plug this in, and you're good to go there. There's also an optional insulated case that's going to be sent to me later, but you can see what it looks like here. So what we have here is a really well-made 20-liter dual-zone refrigerator freezer, and it's run by a compressor, a real high-quality compressor, and I'll get back with you on that shortly. It has great recessed handles. When you open it up and close it, it'll stay open, but when you close it, it's got a soft close lid. Then you push it shut entirely. It has a light inside, so if you're camping and it's dark, you open that up and it will light up the interior. It's got dual zones. You can set the temperature independently. When you pull this partition out, it goes to one temperature because it's now one unit, and you can use it as all refrigerator or you can use it as all freezer. So when you have the divider, the partition plate in, you are in dual zone. And typically what I will do is have the freezer on the left and the refrigerator on the right. The only restriction that you have is that the left side always has to be cooler than the right, which means that the right side cannot be the freezer when the left side is the refrigerator. But most people are going to want, I would think, a freezer smaller and have more space for a refrigerator. Well, it's just a sharp-looking unit. As a matter of fact, it's won some international design awards. It's made out of this ABS plastic. This one's white, and it comes in gray as well. Easy to clean. It's very, very well insulated. And I really like the digital readout screen here. It gives you all the information that you need. It's got venting down here. And you might notice there's some QR codes there. What's that all about? Well, there's actually a Bluetooth app that you can use with this. Now, that may sound kind of silly, but it actually isn't. It's a really smart idea, and I'll tell you about that. Well, let me tell you just a little bit about the app that runs the GO20. It's called Car Fridge, and actually all I did was I took a picture of the QR code and my iPhone just kind of took over and said, oh, do you want this app? Downloaded it very quickly, and actually right now I've got it plugged in, but I don't have it running, but it's showing me right now, and I'll do a close-up of this. It's showing that both partitions right now are at 75 degrees. It's kind of warm in this room right now. And it shows me battery level, the battery voltage, and then once I turn it on and have it running, it shows me what each side, or if I have the partition pulled out, it shows me what the temperature is of that whole area. And then I can set it to some different modes, just a general running mode, and then they have what's called a fast cooling mode, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And so it's showing me the temperatures. I can adjust the temperatures here. You can do it here with the up and down arrows as well, but you can do it with this, and you might think, but why on earth do you need that? Well, if I've got this way in the back of my van, or if I've got it behind me, you have to be careful when you have these 12-volt devices and you plug them into a cigarette lighter. If you bump them, it doesn't take much to lose the connection there. And so what I'm actually going to do is when I have it plugged in the car or my solar generator, my lithium battery, I'll plug it in. I'll just put a piece of painter's tape just to snug it in there. But I can check, or my wife can check as we're driving without even looking back there. Just look at the app real quick and we make sure the temperatures are good, especially if we've got frozen food back there, because if somehow it got jostled out, I want to know so we can reach back and make sure it's plugged in. But again, I'm going to make sure that it's going to stay in there. So you can do all the controls here that you can do on the digital screen right here, but it's actually pretty handy, and I think it was a smart idea for them to include this app. So I'm going to use the app, so I'm going to choose car fridge, and I can turn the power on, and you see everything starts to light up here, and it's showing that the left side is 75 degrees and that the right is 77, and it's got, this is the status. Now I can go to set, and I'm going to turn the left room quick cooling on. That turned this blue snowflake on, and so what it's going to do is have the left side start dropping in temperature a whole lot faster. And then you can see here I can choose the right room and set the temperature what I want. Like right now I've got it set that I will want it to go to 37 after the cooling has finished on the left side. And of course if I took the partition out, then it goes only one of these temperatures shows because you're only cooling one area. So this app is pretty handy. Well, let's talk about the dimensions. This is a 20-liter unit, but you have to remember, if I had a 20-liter regular ice cooler, I'd have to throw in a bunch of ice to keep things cold, so you lose a lot of space with it, not to mention that when it melts, quite often, you've all experienced this, things get soggy that you don't want to get soggy. So it's a pretty useful 20-liter space. So we have two zones inside the GO20. The left side is 7 liters, the right side is 11.5 liters. And of course you've got the insulation taking up some space as well. As I mentioned earlier, it's actually 23.8 pounds, so it's easy to move around. And the dimensions are 22.5 roughly by 12.5 by 12.5. So it fits in a lot of places, and we're probably going to keep it in the back of our van or in the middle part of our van so that we can get to it easily, so while we're driving we can reach back and get a soft drink or cold water or whatever we need quite easily. Well, let's talk about the modes. There are two of them. One is Eco mode, which is what you're going to be running most of the time, and that uses up about 27 watts. The compressor is coming off and on, and it also has a fast cooling mode, and you turn that on with the app or this snowflake digital button right here. So in fast cooling mode, which is only available on the left side, it can dramatically bring down the temperature on the 7-liter left side. And it can take that, depending on the ambient temperature, but it's about 15 minutes or so, it's got it down to 0. So very, very fast. And then you turn that off, and now it's running the temperatures that you set on each side. And like I said, that's what you'll be doing most of the time. I mean, I think that's a neat feature that it can get down real fast, but most people aren't in that big of a hurry. If we're going to go somewhere, like say we're going to Florida in a few weeks, and what we'll do is I'll take this into the kitchen, put it on the counter, and plug it in. I'm not going to use fast cooling. I'm just going to get everything cold. I might even turn it the night before, and then in the morning as we're packing up and getting ready to leave, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it, take it right into the car, put it where we're going to have it secure, and my wife will figure out something so it won't bounce or anything, and plug it in immediately. And so it's already cold. I'm putting cold things in it. I think the fast cooling is great, but for us, most of the time we won't need it. But I think it's neat that they put that in there. Well, as you know, you often get what you pay for. When I was doing my research looking for a refrigerator freezer, because I was tired of messing with ice and having things get all soggy when the ice melted, I found a wide range of prices. And so I found out quickly the reason would be the compressor. And the compressor in many lesser brands that look nice, they are actually pretty cheaply made compressors. They don't have much of a warranty. Whereas ICECO chose to go with what other manufacturers of high quality refrigerators like ARB, they went with the ICECO Danfoss compressor. German made, highly regarded, very quiet, very efficient. It's a great compressor, and when it's running, you really barely hear it at all. And so it was a great choice for them to make this as high quality as they possibly could. Another great feature of this unit is they've got some protections built into it. One is a 3-stage battery protection, so it prevents your car from the battery being run down when this is plugged into the cigarette lighter. It has ECU low voltage protection. It has current overload protection, and also something called EMC anti-electromagnetic interference protection. So they're making sure that the unit is safe and that your car battery doesn't go dead. Just a few quick final thoughts. I've already been talking about it. What would you use this for? Well, obviously for camping trips, whether you are going to be at a place where you can plug in, but if you're also including some camping where you're boondocking, you're off-grid, or maybe you're doing that occasional Walmart or Cracker Barrel overnight stop, this would work really well. If you have some kind of battery in your camper or your RV, you could run it off that. I've got my Jackery 500 watt, easily would run this all night, actually a lot longer than one night, so you could keep things cool that way. So the GO20 would be great to use whether you get off the beaten path or go to a local park, or perhaps you're going to a pitch-in and you need to bring some food with you. Another great idea would be in the summertime, it's really hot and you go shopping at your local grocery, and you could have the GO20 nice and cold to keep your frozen food frozen on the way back home. And I think a really good idea would be to become the star of your house by bringing home some Dairy Queen treats. So why should you consider the ICECO GO20 over other models? Well, I know for sure these have a great build, but the obvious and biggest difference is you've got this dual zone. And with the other units, I have a friend that has an Alpacool, and their unit, they either have to have it as an all freezer or all refrigerator, and they would love to have this dual zone feature. So I would say that is the primary reason that you would be looking at this unit over some of the other brands. I highly recommend it, and we look forward to using it on many trips in the future. And thanks for watching.